Hey everybody, it is September 1st, and the first of the month is when Vinegar Syndrome announces their new titles for the next month. But this time, it also happened to be the date that I finally got my August Vinegar Syndrome package of orders. So, they're not usually that late, especially not for subscribers, but they had that little mini Summerfest sale where a random selection, well, it wasn't random, it was a selection of titles that they personally have, like, the elements on site with them. The Blu-rays of those they had at, like, half off, so they had a little sale, so they had been delayed in shipping everything out. And a lot of other people got it before me. For some reason, the part of the country that I'm in is just not as well serviced as some other parts because they ship out of Colorado as well as out of Connecticut. But, you know, it is what it is. So, let's just do my normal unboxing, you know? Let's see what was in the package, what partner labels I got. I think there is an individual slipcover I got in here, so let's get all those goodies out of here. For the September titles, well, I guess I'll go over my thoughts when I eventually unbox those, which will probably be later this month as opposed to October, one would hope. But I ended up only getting 2 partner labels for that one as well. And, yeah. Come on, scream knife, cut open. Okay. Fun. So, August package, even though it's September. How many bubble wraps did they do? Two bubble wrap packages. So let's just go through them in no particular order, or the order that they pack them in. First, there is this double feature of 2, I guess not spaghetti westerns if they're made in Mexico, mezcal westerns, tequila westerns. I don't know what you'd call a western that was made in Mexico. I mean, it makes more sense for Mexico to make westerns as opposed to Italy, since a lot of traditional American western stories have to deal with cross-national borders between Mexico and the United States, and, you know, General Santa Anna and all that stuff, so. But it's a 2-pack. There is Hot Snake, see that there, and then Guns and Guts. Guns and Guts is from Rene Cardona Jr., but because Rene Cardona III recently passed away, that has made some rights issues or whatever difficult as far as releasing a Cardona Collection Volume 2. Not that many people liked the Cardona Collection number 1, so I guess that's why they decided to just pair it up with another Mexican Western that they had the rights to. I did like Cyclone quite a bit. That's the only movie from the Cardona Collection I've watched so far, but I did like Cyclone quite a bit. But here's the disc itself, which has both of them, just avoiding the glare from my light there. So let's see. Hot Snake is from 76, and Guns and Guts is from 74, 86 minutes and 90 minutes respectively. Region-free disc. For the extras, looks like they're both restored in 4K from the 35mm negative. There is an interview with Rene Cardona III about his father's film, and that's it. That is newly translated subtitles. But that's pretty much it, so kind of bare bones as far as extras go. I'm not a big Western fan in general, but of the Westerns that I do like, I tend to prefer the grittier, more realistic. No Western genre film is really ever all that realistic, but I prefer the grittier, more violent spaghetti westerns than the John Ford, John Wayne classical American Western, like The Searchers or whatever. I fucking hate The Searchers. I had to watch that in film school a couple times. I know it's considered one of the greatest films of all time. I disagree. I prefer more Sergio Leone type stuff. So this could be good, though, because while I'm not a big fan of Westerns, when I do like a Western, I tend to like it a lot. It's just that some people just don't hit my niche there. But, I mean, the fact that they're Mexican Westerns makes me think that it will eschew the normal, like, American mythologizing and, you know, all of the sort of conservative America bullshit that is packed into the American Westerns from, like, the 50s and 60s. So, yeah, I hope so. And Master Chaos, a much more popular blue tuber than me, seemed to really like these, but he also was a big spaghetti western fan, so, you know, could be good. I don't know. And next we have The Birds 2: Land's End. I believe this is the first movie in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog to be directed by Alan Smithee. Alan Smithee being the former pseudonym that directors who wanted to take their name off of a film, they would petition the Directors Guild to say that, and if they could prove that the finished film was not representative of their vision, and as long as the director promised not to badmouth the film thereafter, they were allowed to use Alan Smithee as a pseudonym. So I believe the actual director is Rick Rosenthal, who did Halloween 2 and Halloween Resurrection. One of those much better than the other. I've seen this movie when I was a kid. I specifically remember it coming on syndication TV, or maybe cable, like a USA type network. I don't think actually USA. Maybe TNT or something. I know it's originally a Showtime TV movie, and obviously it's a barely connected sequel to Hitchcock's classic film. For the life of me, I can't remember if it's good or bad. I assume it's bad, just because, you know, the Alan Smithee of it all, and from what I've read on, like, Letterboxd and stuff, from people who have seen it far more recently than I. It's probably been 30 years since the last time I watched this movie. So I don't remember if it's good or bad. I barely remember any of it. I just specifically remember that it would come on cable or syndicated TV a bit, and I did watch it at some point. But I've heard mostly bad things. So, let's see. This is Region A locked. 86 minutes for extras. It's scanned and restored in 2K from the 35mm interpositive. It's got a commentary track with a couple film historians. There's an extensive, almost an hour long, 54 minutes, making of documentary with cast and crew interviews. There is a 17-minute interview with the composer, and a featurette from the production assistant about the locations for 11 minutes. So that almost an hour-long documentary seems to be the cream of the crop for the extras on this one. So interesting that it's an interpositive, this TV movie. They couldn't find the negative for it. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'm interested to take a look at this, even if it sucks, which it probably will. Just because, you know, it's a sequel to a Hitchcock movie. I mean, Psycho 2 is really good, and that came out, I think, maybe earlier than this one. What is this? This is a little circle? Oh, there's a little Vinegar Syndrome sticker. They don't normally do that. That's normally a Severin thing. This is a little tiny sticker, but okay, Vincent, sure. And this is one of the partner labels that I got. It's a movie I have seen before, and it is Faults. Riley Stearns' original film. This is the front of the slipcover, and this is the back of the slipcover. So, I watched this movie for the first time earlier this year. I believe it was in preparation for Riley Stearns' third movie, Duel. Duel got a very limited release in theaters back around April, and I went to go see it because I'm a huge fan of Stearns' second film, The Art of Self-Defense. The Art of Self-Defense, critics liked it, but they didn't love it as much as I did. That was my favorite film of the year it came out. And it's sort of like if you took Fight Club and you stripped away all of the political commentary or the economic commentary and focused it just on the stuff about toxic masculinity, that would be that movie. And that it was also extremely funny, and Stearns has a thing, it's not so much in this movie, but in that film as well as in Duel, he has all of his characters seem to exist in this parallel universe where everyone speaks in this detached monotone, and for some reason that really speaks to my wavelength and my sense of humor. Now, I follow Riley Stearns on Twitter, and he tweeted recently something that implied that he's probably on the spectrum, and that totally makes sense why I'm on, because the flat monotone stuff, that can be very much certain people on the spectrum, and I can sometimes be like that. I'm a bit more animated on my videos because I'm talking about things I'm interested in, but if you catch me in like a conversation I don't want to be in, I'm pretty flat. And so that sort of explains my connection to his work, that it sort of goes on that wavelength. So I really I didn't like Duel as much as Art of Self-Defense, but I liked Duel quite a bit. Duel was a very good movie. And I believe, what's her name? Karen Gillian, the redhead there. She said when she was doing her monotone voice, she just modeled it after how Riley, the director, speaks. So that seems like, oh, well, he makes his character speak that way because he himself speaks that way, so that sort of adds a bit of credence to the possible him being on the spectrum thing. So Faults was his first film. I had not seen it before, but when Duel was about to come out, I was like, oh, well, he made a movie earlier than that, and it was free on Tubi, so I watched it. And it's not as monotone as his other movies. The characters do have more inflection in this one, but it definitely has his sense of humor throughout. So it's about a cult deprogrammer who is kind of on the skids in his career because of something that happened, and the parents of this girl who has been taken in by a cult called Faults hire him to basically kidnap her and deprogram her. And so most of the film takes place in a hotel room as he's trying to deprogram her. And it's not as overtly comedic as his other two films. It does spin a bit more into drama, or not quite a thriller, but it goes into slightly more serious, dark stuff later on, as opposed to the fully comedic, dark stuff that his other films do. But it is really good. The lead actress in it is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was married to Riley Stearns at the time. I believe they've since gotten divorced. But it's a very, very good movie, which is why when I saw that they were putting this out with the slipcover and everything, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that. Plus, I was really looking forward to one of the extras, which is the audio commentary. So it's 90 minutes from 2015. Disc is region free. There's an introduction from Riley Stearns, so I don't think I've ever actually heard him speak, so maybe that'll confirm the monotone thing. There is a new commentary with the director and crew. There is a commentary from back in 2015 with the director and the cast, so that's interesting. I mean, I guess after if they didn't, I'm not sure if they're on good terms, him and his ex-wife, so maybe they didn't want to get back into a room together for another commentary at this point. Let's see, there's an interview with Riley Stearns and Lola Blanc. I don't know who Lola Blanc is. She does not show up in the credits that I'm reading here, so there's that. I think she's an actual deprogrammer, maybe? I don't know. Then there's a separate interview with Riley Stearns, so there's a bunch of interviews with him. There's a short film called The Cub. I believe that is another one by Stearns. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in that one as well. I think it's only about 6 minutes or so. They didn't put the time in here, but I think I looked it up on Letterboxd at one time. And then there's a trailer. So I'm very interested in this one because I am a huge fan of Stearns' 3 features. So I'm interested in being able to delve into the extras for this one. So, plus, cults is obviously something I'm interested in. I don't know why I say it, obviously. Have I mentioned that on YouTube before? I say that as if everyone's interested in cults, but cults are something I'm also interested in, and so the subject matter was very interesting to me in general, outside of Riley Stearns' unique voice. And then we have the other partner label that I got. And this was Natural Enemies, a film I have never heard of, but the plot sounded very interesting. That basically there's this guy who's at the end of his rope, and so he decides to go off and have a fuck fest and then become a family annihilator. And I was like, that is some dark shit there. Okay, at least this is from Fun City Editions. Can't speak today. Faults was by Yellow Veil, by the way, if you're wondering what the partner label was. So this is the front. Back today, Paul Stewart is planning to kill his wife, his children, and himself. Great. Hal Holbrook and Louise Fletcher. And here's the cover here. So let's see. This is region free and 100-minute runtime. It's from 1979. For extras, it's a 2K restoration from a 35mm deposit print held at the Library of Congress. Damn. There must not be a lot of elements for this one that still exist. I don't know if this was ever released even on DVD, to be quite honest. I think this jumped right from VHS to Blu-ray. Let's see. There is a newly filmed 2-part video interview with the director. There is a video introduction with the director, an alternate ending, and a booklet. Oh, and a new commentary by Bill Ackerman of the Supporting Characters podcast. I've never heard of that. But anyway, I just thought the subject matter sounded extremely interesting for this, and especially for that subject matter to be in a film from 1979. That seems like it's before Family Annihilators had like a bunch of like Netflix documentaries. So it just seemed like dark. Plus, Hal Holbrook is a really good actor, and seeing him in a starring role is not something you see every day. Let's see, and then we got a box set, and this is Forgotten Jolly Volume 5. So right now I have Volume 2, because I got that as a subscriber. I have Volume 3 that I bought during a halfway sale, because it was on sale. I don't have Volume 1, I had no interest in movies in 1. And I don't have Volume 4, even though there's a couple things from 4 I'm interested in. But now that I'm a subscriber again, I have 5. So this is one side of the box. I don't know how you differentiate front and back. So all of the things, all of the sides. There, for all the completionists. So 3 movies in here. A White Dress for Marielle, Tropic of Cancer, which is not based on that porno book that is mentioned on Seinfeld, and 9 Guests for a Crime, which sounded like a... And Then There Were None, which is the most politically correct title of that Agatha Christie novel. It has some really bad titles that I won't say. Let's see, I just pulled them out in this order. 9 Guests for a Crime. There's probably the one of these 3 that I'm most interested in. See, from 1977, 91 minutes, region free. 9 members of an extremely rich family. They go to a remote island and they get knocked off one by one. So, Knives Out, Murder on the Orient Express, that kind of thing. Island of Blood from Vinegar Syndrome. Let's see, this is restored in 4K from the negative. Let's see, both the original Italian language soundtrack and an optional English dub. There is a 27-minute interview with one of the actors, and a 15-minute audio essay from a film historian and critic. Cool. I'll put them back in the boxes. I am finished talking to them. Oh, completionist's sake, the inside of the lid. Next, Tropic of Cancer. Weird cover art on that one. Let's see. Region free, 95 minutes from 1972. A couple people are vacationing in Haiti to repair their marriage. And then there's a powerful aphrodisiac, which is also a hallucinogen. And there's a high-stakes plot to steal a drug while killer or killers are doing away with people. Right, that does sound kind of interesting. I don't know if that'll end up being that good, but I don't know. There's a little bit of Serpent in the Rainbow in there. I don't know. So, what else, the zombies? This is restored in 4K from the 35mm negative, Italian language, English dub. There's a 33-minute interview with the writer-director called Sex, Voodoo, and Dictatorship. I don't know, was this during the Papa Doc part? And an audio essay with that same film critic and historian who did the one on that one. Also, there's outtakes, an alternate English title sequence, Italian and English trailers. Yeah, okay. Sounds like an interesting plot. It might not be good, but I don't know. I've mentioned before in other ones I'm not a huge Giallo fan. Anyway, White Dress for Marielle. What is this about? She's a little girl. She witnesses her father murder her mother along with an adulterous lover and then kills himself. Another family annihilator. Or I guess, crime of passion. I don't know. And then she's invited with a group of friends to a party at an isolated villa. I'm sensing a theme here. Islands, villas, let's see. Increased sense of debauchery and hedonism befalls the group. Perverse fun and games disrupted by a mysterious killer. Okay. So yeah, these all kind of sound of alike. Let's see. Restored in 4K from 35mm negative. 20-minute interview with the director. 55-minute interview with the actress. That is a long fucking time for one interview. I hope she says some interesting stuff. And an audio essay from the same historian and critic as the other 2 movies. Deleted scenes, English and French trailers, and new English subtitles. Okay. I don't know. I mean, all 3 of these sound like they might be interesting, but they could also be complete garbage, so who knows. So you never know with the Forgotten Jolly box sets. And then here is this is the one purchase I made from the summer sale, and it's just an individual slipcover. And this is for Blue Ice, a porno movie that I did not know was porn when I bought it. Apparently I just completely glazed over that when I was buying it. It just seemed like it was a film noirish detective thing involving Nazis. So, I bought it, and then I think my unboxing is actually on this channel. I think I did unbox it on camera, where I unbox it and I'm like, oh, I see an X rating. Is this porn? And I flip it over and I'm like, oh, it's porn. And then so when I did that, after I filmed that unboxing, I think my fiance was taking a bath, and I went in there and I'm like, I accidentally bought a porn. and I told her that it involved like Nazis and stuff, and she's like, oh, we have to watch that. So we ended up watching it together. And one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a porn happens in this movie. So there is it's about like Nazis. They're living in like Argentina or whatever, and now they've come back to the U.S. and they're trying to get some sort of document or whatever. I don't even remember the plot. But there's a scene where these two male Nazis are being egged on by this female Nazi to have sex with this woman. And one of these male Nazis is very much a very obvious homosexual man who has no interest in sex with this woman. But I guess he's straight for pay? Is that a thing? But anyway, so this very tall, very homosexual man in a Nazi full SS regalia drops trow, and he's got a big old butterfly tattoo on his ass cheek, which it doesn't seem like something a Nazi would have. I'm just so I have laughed at that ever since. But anyway, so I own that movie, so I figured I might as well buy the slipcover for it. So yeah, it's a porn about Nazis and a MacGuffin. So so there's that. And then the last title I got here is The Incredible Melting Man. Now, I have seen this movie before. The first time I saw it, it was on MST3K, where they made fun of it. I think I've seen the film on its own since then, but it's been a while. Basically, it's a 1950s sci-fi monster movie, but it's made in the 70s and has much better special effects makeup and just goopy melting from, I think it's from Rob Bottin. I'll look here. I think it's from Rob Bottin. No, Rick Baker, the other one. One of the other big makeup guys, Rick Baker. So yeah, it was one of early Rick Baker stuff. So the makeup effects are much, much better than the movie deserves. Though there's a scene toward the end, I guess mild spoilers, where the doctor yells something along the lines, I forget his name, but he says something like, "Don't you know who I am? I'm Dr. Ted Winslow," or something, and then he just gets shot in the chest. And that reminds me of this episode of The Simpsons where Moe gets plastic surgery to become handsome, and he plays Dr. Tad Winslow on a soap opera, and it just kind of reminds me of that. But the actor who plays that doctor's line delivery in this movie is just so unintentionally funny that it's just like I'm a famous doctor that cops or security guards would know. It's like, how dare you draw guns at me? I don't know, but it's basically an astronaut goes up into space and is like infected by space shit and starts melting and attacking people. It's cheesy monster stuff, but kind of updated with the makeup from the 70s. Anyway, it's a 4K. It's region A. I assume that's just the Blu-ray. The 4K disc would be unlocked, region free. I think all 4K discs are supposed to be region free, but I did hear that Shout Factory / Scream Factory did actually region lock some of their 4Ks, which is very shitty of them. But luckily they release movies like 900 at a time, so if you don't want the locked ones, get another one that they've put out. But anyway, it is 86 minutes and it's from 1977. Let's see, it is restored from its 35mm camera negative in 4K. And let's see, it's got an archival commentary track with the director. It's got a 31-minute new interview with the director. It's got a new interview with the script supervisor for 15 minutes. That's interesting. I like when they interview people from crews that you normally don't see interviewed. You know, production assistants and camera operators and script supervisors and, you know, craft services. I don't let's see. Archival interview featurette with the director and special effects artist Rick Baker, and archival interview with special effects artist Greg Cannon, actually, and the trailer. So, looking forward to revisiting this to see the makeup in all of its glory. So that is the August package. Today is September 1st. They did announce the September titles. Some stuff I'm not too crazy about in there. Some stuff I'm interested in. I think they're saving it for the big October, because that's when Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is getting the 4K release. So let's see, we got 3 movies in this box set. We had 3 movies from the regular Vinegar Syndrome release on top of that, and then I added 2 partner labels on that. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 films and a slipcover, and that is the damage for August. For September, they did make a couple changes to the website. They did some very slight updates to the page itself, but then they also changed it so that subscribers, you don't have to put in any codes anymore. As long as you're logged in, it automatically gives you the subscriber price and the subscriber shipping option to ship with your next thingamabob. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this unboxing. I'm sure other people have gotten to unboxings before I have. FedEx was only 1 day late from their estimate this time, so they're getting better. Last month they actually delivered on their estimate date, and this month they delivered a day after their date, which is different from the normal 5 to 6 days after their estimate that they've set. So FedEx is reeling some stuff in there. As I've mentioned in my last episode of Leninhawk Talk, September is a very busy month for me. So not sure when other uploads will come up sporadically. I did buy that Halsey Blu-ray CD thing that comes with the book. I'll probably unbox that on camera. I think that'll probably get here this weekend. But I'm busy this weekend, so the upload might not be till next week. And then I've got other stuff this month, so we'll see how it goes. But thank you for joining in. If you like my rambling and my inability to pronounce shit, then please like, share, subscribe, comment, all the things that YouTube people ask you to do. And I hope you have a good September. Go out and get that pumpkin spice. Spice must flow.